Welcome back to episode 84 of the ATD Baseball Podcast. Not gonna lie, this is gonna be heavy All-Star stuff this time. Um, we're a week away from, which is kind of crazy. I know I've been saying this the last couple episodes, but a week from, this Sunday, we're officially done with the first half of the regular season, which is crazy. Seems like we just came back from Florida. It seems like we just had opening day. It feels like the Dodgers were in Korea against the Padres, but we got an all-star heavy episode, really the next 2 weeks, because, next week we're going to be talking about previewing the Derby and the game itself. But before we get into everything that we want to discuss today, Kyle, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I can't complain. The only thing I really can complain about is exactly what you just said. This season is flying by extremely quick. I think it's honestly insane, and I think you hit it right on the head. It does feel like we were just in Florida together. It feels like opening day just happened. It feels like Shohei Ohtani sweepstakes. It feels like he's still on his way to Toronto for some
Wow.
reason. I don't know. I know.
Throw a dig at
Kind
the
of digging
Blue
back in
Jays.
there a little bit. Oh, wait. Come on. I'm going to do that any chance I can. Um, no, other than that, man, I'm doing great. Can't complain too much. Yankees suck. But yeah, let's get into some all-star talk.
Yeah, definitely. I'm doing great. Dodgers. I mean, I was disappointed losing 2 out of 3 to the Diamondbacks is not definitely not what you want to see. But then they made it up and they took 2 out of 3 from a very good Brewers team, and so that was fun. But yeah, just the topics that we have today. All Star Game rosters got announced. Announced the starting lineup got released last week, but the pitchers and the reserves got released yesterday. And then the jerseys got released last week. I'm telling you right now out of the gate, I'm not feeling those. I'm sorry. Like, we'll get into it, but what the hell? It's a disgrace what has happened to this All Star game. But we'll get into that later. And then the home run derby taking shape. Uh, you know, there's certain guys in there that maybe some people don't like. There's a certain person in there that maybe everybody's sick and tired of seeing now. But four down, four to go. Half of the field has been set, and the other four are expected to be announced as the week goes on. And then lastly, like Kyle mentioned it, he's got some thoughts on the Yankees, and I got some thoughts on the Dodgers as we, again, approach the ending of the first half of the regular season. So, stick around for that. That should be exciting. Um, but All-Star rosters were released yesterday. The pitchers and the reserves got released yesterday. Phillies have the most. They're sending 7 to Texas. I think the Dodgers are sending 6. I think the Padres are sending 6 too, which I'm not. That's not fun, but oh well. I mean, they deserve it. I'm not saying they don't deserve it, but um, I don't know where you want to start with this. Congratulations to everybody. First of all, listen, you guys have heard me say this a bunch of times, but I take the All-Star game and the voting very seriously. To me, it is a big deal, and and I know it is for every player that makes it. But for me, the All Star game means a lot. The whole week means a lot. It's a big deal to the teams. It's a big deal to the players that get to represent their teams. And it just gets an opportunity for every fan that goes to see the best players perform. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, the All Star game kind of has lost its pizzazz a little bit for me in the last couple years, just because number one, I don't like the fact that they have to wear special jerseys for the game itself rather than just wear their actual uniforms during the season. And the other part is we're getting, which is not a bad thing. And I know the way I'm about to say it sounds like a bad thing, but I believe there's 41 new All-Stars this season. And that's the most since 2022 when I was there at Dodger Stadium. Part of the thing of what made, for me growing up, the All-Star game so special was because it was the same guys every year. And they were big names. I'm not saying these guys aren't, but it was, it was David Ortiz, it was Derek Jeter, it was Barry Bonds. It was the same group of guys, Manny Ramirez, Alex Rodriguez, the same group of guys that got in every single year. They earned it, and they put up monster numbers to deserve it. So for me, and because of the jerseys, the All-Star game has kind of... It's still, don't get me wrong, it's still a big event. It's the Midsummer Classic. It's fun. I enjoy it. But congratulations to all these guys. And who do you think got snubbed? Because I definitely have a couple off the top of my head right now.
I'd have to look a little bit into it. Kind of threw
Yeah, sorry.
threw
kinda
me into
threw
that one.
Uh,
No, you're good. If you want, go for yours a little
Kenley
bit.
Jansen.
And
I thought Kenley Jansen should have made it. Maybe that's me
mhm.
being a little biased. He's a former Dodger. But hey, I think he's, out of 18 opportunities to get saves, I think he's shut it down 17 times. That's not nothing. Again, I'm going to have to throw my Dodgers in there. I thought Evan Phillips should have made it because he's not even a... He's the Dodger closer, technically, but he's a super reliever. It doesn't matter what part of the game he's coming in. They always put him out there against the best hitters on the other team, and I thought he should have made it. I thought he should have made it last year, too. Gavin Stone, I thought he's been one of the better rookies this year. I thought he should have made it. But those are the three off the top of my head. I don't know if you have any other
Yeah,
ones. Or...
there was one that stuck out to me yesterday that, obviously as the reserves came out and everybody else was starting to get into, these rosters were kind of taking form, there was one guy who I thought was left out and shouldn't have been, and that's Christian Walker. Especially because Pete Alonso got in. Listen, I'm not taking anything away from Pete. I think he's a phenomenal player. I think he deserves to be there, but Christian Walker deserves it just a little bit more. Looking at stats, the only thing that Alonso and Christian Walker, the only thing that, and they're tied on this, by the way, and that's stolen bases. And with these two guys, it doesn't matter with stolen bases. Their power is kind of what carries their game. And Christian Walker leads Pete Alonso in every single stat besides that, and they're tied. So for me, I think that was the big one that stuck out. And kind of taking a twist on it, maybe not snubbed, but maybe who I thought shouldn't have gotten in, and that's Paul Skeens. That might be a hot take here.
Whoa. I don't agree with that.
I have to say, because this guy just got called up, and listen,
And he's
he
been
has
great.
all the makings. He has been great. You're 100% correct. But this guy has not even put in. Okay, just because
This
I want
this is the
to.
first thing we're posting tomorrow.
Yeah. So for me, Paul Skeens has pitched just under 60 innings this season, and for me, I feel like pitchers have become a lost value in today's game, especially, and we really started seeing this when all these guys were going down at the beginning of the season, right? Strider, Cole, guys like that who are out for a significant amount of time, and these guys are constantly putting their bodies on the line and constantly, not. It's kind of going away from the normal 7-8 innings that we're seeing pitchers go, and there's some guys who have stayed healthy this season and haven't gotten the nod. When maybe the ERA is a little more inflated than Paul Skeens, but you have to look at the sample size. And to me, Paul Skeens has all the makings of being a ace in this league. I think he has all the potential to be a top pitcher in the league. I think he does. But it's just a little too early for me. This guy just got called up. I'm not taking anything away from him. I think he will deserve it next year when he gives me more than 60 innings. That's the way that I look at it. I think it was a little too early, especially when there's guys on this list that I could find who I would give the All-Star nod to over Paul Skeens.
Wow. I'm gonna be honest. We don't. I was not expecting that. Honestly, I thought that was one of the last guys that was gonna be. And listen, I haven't seen. Well, I don't check Instagram comments on stuff like that because people like to go the wrong way with it. But I haven't checked. Are there a lot of people that are not happy that he's on the team?
It's wishy-washy.
Okay.
I've seen both ends. I definitely think I'm in the minority when it comes to comes to that. But no, that's just the way that I feel. And like I said, if this guy got called up at the beginning of the season, started on opening day, with the Pirates in the major leagues, I would understand it a little bit more. But just for me, I'm not taking anything away from his game. I think he's a phenomenal pitcher, and I think he's going to be one of the best in baseball. I think he's already on that track. But just as of right now, I'm literally looking at the sample size. Not taking anything away from the talent, it's the sample size to me. And there's guys out there who I feel could have taken that spot and deserved it a little bit more than Skeens. And I promise you, it is strictly on the amount of innings that he has pitched in the major leagues. That is why I am saying that. That's the way that I look at it.
Fair enough. That threw me off so much. I'm gonna be honest with you. I saw some people try to make a case for Lindor. No. Nope. Not over Mookie, which I know he's hurt. Not over Trey. He was hurt. I'm sorry, but Ellie has to be in there. Sorry, he does. Electric, stole a shit ton of bases. And I wish he would have done the Derby. I know he declined it, but God, I'm just trying to think of other guys too that would have made it, or that should have made it. Just kind of looking up and down these rosters a little bit. Happy for Chris Sale, I'll say that. Really happy for Chris Sale. Remember, he was at one point when he was with the White Sox, I felt like he was starting the All-Star game every single year. Everybody was getting tired of it. Now it's like, went to Boston and, kind of didn't end well. We kind of didn't know what Chris Sale we were going to get when he went to Atlanta, and he's been good, and he deserves to be an All-Star, and I'm happy for him. Another one I'm happy for.
I definitely agree with you there.
Saw a lot of Dodger fans complain about Logan Webb. You can include me in that one too, I think. Listen, I understand, and I understand that sometimes, like, I don't like this either, but baseball has to do, one player from each team. I don't like that. If you don't have an all-star on your team, I don't think you should send one. And I know Elliot Ramos made it too with the Giants, and he deserved it. Congratulations to him. But Logan Webb, he's pitched 119 innings. He's 7-6, and he has an ERA of 3.09. Is that an all-star to you? Does that sound like an all-star to you? Are we kidding me? Are you kidding me here? I don't listen. No disrespect. I'm not. I mean, I know it sounds like it, but it's weird for me. It's like I'm saying you shouldn't be an all-star, but he is, and so but. He's 7-6 with an above 3 ERA.
Mm-hmm.
Why is he an all-star? I don't get it.
I don't. These are things that we're seeing. This is becoming a new thing, and it kind of touches on your point with the whole how we grew up versus the way that the All-Star game is becoming now, right? Like an all-star from every team. That's another thing that it's getting into. And real quick, just because I kind of want to prove my point and not just say an outrageous take without giving some sort of like recommendation for otherwise. So Paul Skeens, right? He has pitched just under 60 innings this year with a 2.12 ERA. And I understand Philly has had 7 All-Stars already, but I wouldn't have been against them getting 8 with Christopher Sanchez. Christopher Sanchez is pitching to a 2.96 ERA this year with just about 100 innings. That's my problem. That's where I feel, and I can, and Christopher Sanchez is just the first guy that came to mind for me. This is a guy who has pitched damn near double the amount of innings that Skeens has pitched, and they're separated by under sub 1 ERA. That's where my problem was with Skeens. I never wanted to take anything away from his talent because, like I said, he's a generational talent. That's the kind of guy that he's turning into for the Pirates. But in this case, I feel like Christopher Sanchez kind of deserved it a little bit more.
But remember, Kyle, it's
however,
a popularity contest. They're gonna send his girlfriend to Texas too, and she's probably gonna take over the MLB Instagram account for 2 days.
Okay, here. Funny question for you. Do you think that had anything to do with it?
I mean, she's definitely gonna be there.
Oh yeah.
I'm. You see, this is where this is how you're gonna get me canceled. This is,
We're on air, Melo.
I'm sure it had a small part to do with it. A very small, very small.
Let's back it up.
Like, all right, like, cool. She's this very popular gymnast, social media personality. She can help us get some followers, which is a bunch of 12-year-old, 12-year-old little boys that are, like her, So, listen, I'm sure it had a small part in it, but to me, I think he deserved it. I had seen enough sample size already.
Okay.
But
no, I mean, and
I hope that wasn't the reason why he's there.
I mean, in my heart of hearts, I don't think it is.
No, I don't
mean, this
either.
guy is. I can't say enough about Paul Skeens. I can, but it's literally just the sample size for me. That's what it comes down to. But looking around this entire All-Star game and what it's becoming, I do have to agree with you. I don't like the way that it's going. I think popularity should be thrown out the window. When you're looking at All-Stars itself, you need to look at the stats, and that's why I'm extremely happy we're going to see Stephen Kwan. I'm extremely happy we're going to see Jerickson Profar. These are guys who have had outstanding seasons, and even Yelich too. You can throw him in there.
Jared Duran, I'm glad he made
it. Yes, I have to agree with you. And these are the kind of guys that usually get overshadowed. You take Stephen Kwan, for example. You really don't look at him when you think of Cleveland. You don't think of Profar when you think of San Diego. So for these guys who are having phenomenal seasons and being huge contributors to their team, I mean, they deserve it. So that's the part of the All-Star game that I like, that we're kind of getting into a little bit more. But like when you look at the American League side of things, Vladdy getting the nod at first base, it's a stretch for me. I don't know if I agree with that.
That one is solely based on the name, I believe.
I agree. I 100% agree with you. I'm not taking anything away from him because he's proven in the past that he can put up those kind of numbers to consistently be an all-star each and every single year. But this year it's just not the case. And there's other guys who deserve that a little bit more than he does. So that's the point where I'm having a little bit of a problem with the All-Star game. And it just seems like it's going more and more downhill each and every single year. I don't know why. I'm still going to tune in no matter what because I'm a baseball fan. It's such a special thing to me, but maybe I'm picking too much. I don't know. But it comes down to the fact that I don't like the way that the All-Star game is going. And that's kind of the same thing with the Home Run Derby, and we touched on it last week, and I'm sure we're going to touch on it in a couple minutes. But my thoughts on the jerseys itself.
Wait, hold on. Before we get to that, I just want to say two things. Well, whatever comes out of my mouth in the next couple of minutes here.
Go for it.
This is one of the actual things I do enjoy about the All-Star game still, because
Mhm.
The timing of the All-Star game and the trade deadline, to me, it's so fascinating. It's only like a 2 week apart. It's only like 2 weeks apart from each other. And
Mhm.
almost every All-Star game, there's always one player that shows up and you know he's going to get traded in 2 weeks, or you know he might get traded in 2 weeks. 2018 was Manny Machado. 2022, when I was there, it was Juan Soto. Everybody and their mother knew Soto was getting traded. It was just a matter of who. You want to take a guess of who that player is going to be this year? You want to take a crack at it? I'm looking right
Ooh,
at
that's a
him
good
right
one.
now.
Okay.
I'm going to
Um,
be very interested to see who this player is walking around with during the All-Star
ooh.
festivities.
Are we talking starters here, or are we talking,
He's a starter.
or the guy that you're looking at? You're thinking of a
He's a
starter?
starter. No. He's a starting pitcher, not one of the starters on the All Star team. On the all on a
Oh,
starting pitcher. Let me make that clear.
okay. Okay. I was about to go a little into it there. I'm looking at Garrett
There
Crochet.
you go. Ding, ding, ding.
That's yeah.
To me, he's gonna be the guy that the camera's gonna be on him, and it's like, damn, he's getting traded. It's just a matter of what team. And I feel bad for guys like that because what do you think the number one question they're gonna ask him when he's there in Texas?
Oh, that's all the media is going to be covering when it comes to Crochet.
Hey, are you
I mean,
getting traded?
come up in his name has come up in so many different mock trades that it's. I mean, he's kind of the go-to guy now. If your team needs starting pitching, I mean, Garrett Crochet is he's kind of the guy to look
And if
at.
you see Garrett Crochet talking to one of your players, oh my god, everybody's gonna get the wrong idea. Like
Hmm.
I'm gonna go nuts if I see Garrett Crochet saying hello to Freddie Freeman or Will Smith or somebody. I'm gonna be like, yep, signing, it's here. We're getting him in 2 weeks. There we go. We're gonna win this whole thing. God damn it.
See, and I mean, you can kind of keep going a little bit more on that whole point with incoming free agents.
Yep,
I
Juan
mean,
Soto.
that, yeah, come on, I already had to deal with that 2 years ago. Um, but no, I mean, it does bring me back to Aaron Judge because Judge was on that historic 2022 season when he hit 62 home runs. I have to remind everybody that
Uh,
he might break that record again
oh
this
my
year,
god.
but anyway, the entire aura surrounding Aaron Judge that entire weekend was, oh, where are you going to sign? What's your future with the Yankees looking like? I do see that being a thing with Soto again this year. Sadly, got to deal with that again.
Talking to other
But
players.
no, yeah. I mean, it's already happened. I mean, the whole mic'd up situation, people were going nuts because I'm pretty sure it was something along the lines of Bryce Harper being the like one of the best hitters that he's ever played with, something like
Yeah.
that. So now everybody, mother was on Twitter saying that he was going to sign with Philly. But no, it is interesting, and I'm glad you brought that up because not only does it go for guys who are going likely to be traded, but it goes for guys who are incoming free agents, especially the big ones like Soto this year. And we got it a few years back with Judge just from personal experience. But yeah, no, that's a good point that you brought up.
Now, what were you gonna mention about the jerseys?
So this year's I don't mind them.
Oh,
I don't think that they're completely. I like the National League more than I do the American League. I don't know. There's something about the simplicity to them. And the one thing I will say that I do like about these themed jerseys that they're doing each and every year is I like how they're taking it from the home team, right? So this year it's very obvious that it's like an old Western style text. Last year was Seattle's, and then so forth and so on. So I like that part of things, but if I have to go with my gut instinct, all I have to say is they need to just bring back where players are wearing their respective team jerseys. And if you want to put some kind of twist on it, I don't know. I guess modify the jerseys a little bit, throw a patch on or
that's what they
something.
did
You know,
beforehand.
that yeah, It's like if you really want to make it more modernized, quote unquote, take the city of what you are playing in, and then throw, like, just for example, this year it would have been cool to see like the plain jerseys that you wear each and every single day for your home team, and then throw like a old western,
Oh, I like that.
like a sheriff star on it, something like that, and then put the patch with the number of all stars you
Yeah,
have, something like that. I really feel like they need to go back to the whole simplicity and just wear your team, man. That's what it comes down to for
I
me.
don't mind these.
That's what I
I
want
don't
to.
mind these jerseys, but wear them for a workout on Mondays and wear them for the derby on Monday. Don't wear it for the actual game
Yeah, I can see that. I definitely I do get behind the whole derby thing. I'd love to see these kind of jerseys during the
because it's
derby.
fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's not something you see every day. Let me ask you this:
Hmm.
would you be in favor if they started wearing their city connects? I know it'd be hard for teams like the Yankees because they don't have one, but what if wearing your city connects for your All Star game?
I never thought of that, but I do like that idea. I think it's playing into the whole marketing thing that MLB is trying to do with these City Connects. So if you want to market every single one of them at once, just do it at the All Star game. Um, no, I like that idea. I think that's cool. But for teams like the Yankees and the Athletics, I guess just rock with the jerseys they have now.
Exactly. You can stand out a little bit more.
I mean, that Yankee jersey stands out no matter where you
Oh
go.
my god. Um, I think we're done talking about the rosters, right?
I think so.
Um, Gavin Stone, I think he'll make it. I think he'll be a replacement for somebody because he's 9-2 and he has an ERA barely over 3. And I know he has a similar ERA to Logan Webb, but he's also lost 6 of the. He's also has a record of 7-6, like I just mentioned. Gavin Stone's 9-2.
Hmm.
He's winning games, but um, the home run derby. Speaking of that, half of the field has been set. It is as of right now, and we're recording this 7:40 Eastern Time on Monday, July 8th. Um, your home run derby so far is Alec Boehm, Gunnar Henderson, uh, Marcelo Zuna, and Pete Alonso. Um, listen,
Womp.
listen. You know, the first couple times when Pete Alonso did it, I was like, all right, cool. Like, he's one of the premier home run hitters in the game, so he deserves to be here and he deserves to do it. And then he won it twice. I'm like, oh, great. This is fantastic. Um, it's hard for me because I can go both ways with this. I could say I really wish he wouldn't do it, but then the other side of the coin is like, okay, well, who else is gonna do it? Judge is declining to do it. Ellie De La Cruz declined to do it. Oh, the Dodgers don't want Otani to do it. It's like, who else are you gonna get out there? And if you know you have Pete Alonso who wants to do it every single year, then why not let him do it? But it seems like some people, and according to our poll that I put out yesterday, let me get the final tally on this. 61% of our followers say they are tired of seeing Pete Alonso in the home run derby. Kyle, would you have liked to seen somebody else? Or are you okay with Pete Alonso doing it again? I think this is his 5th time too. Did he do it last year?
Um, no, I don't think he did. Maybe in. I don't remember. Last year was Seattle.
I know he did it in 22 because I was there. 21
Yeah.
he won. 20 there was none, no game. I'm looking at it right now. He did not do. Yeah, he did do it last year.
Okay. Oh yeah, yeah. Because I think there was a clip of him in the cages, and everybody made fun of him
Yeah,
for it. So, um, to answer your question, uh, yeah, I think so. He's your prototypical guy to play in the All Star game, to play in the Home Run Derby. You know, it's the same face. So I guess why, like, I guess people can, I guess I see where people are coming from. And from what I understand, Pete Alonso takes the Home Run Derby very seriously. And we kind of got a taste of that last year. You know, but this is a guy who loves the game of baseball, right? So I'm not going to fault him for that. Um, would I personally have liked to see somebody else? Yeah, probably. But am I mad that he's in it? Absolutely not. Because if this is a guy who is having fun while doing it and, you know, is going to hit a shit ton of home runs, it's all that matters to me. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah, that's the way I look at
and
it.
it's not like he's like you said he's a bum. Like he's won the Derby twice. Even if he
Yeah.
doesn't win, he's gonna get pretty close. He's gonna get to the final or the semis, and he's gonna hit a shit ton of home runs in the process. Um,
Yep.
Again, I can go both ways with it. I can easily talk myself into this is awesome. He should do it every year until he decides not to or retires. But then I also could see the other side where no, get somebody else in there. But again, if Major League Baseball can't get these guys to do it, and I know Pete Alonso's not having the best year offensively, but when he's still a star in this game. He still is, and he plays for a big
Oh,
market
yeah.
team in the Mets. But I like it. I don't think people would be rooting for him to win. I think people are now rooting. It was a fun story from the beginning. Like, oh, cool, Pete Alonso. Now now we hope this guy loses. I think it's because how people see how seriously he takes it. But it's
Yeah.
almost like you want to see him fail. But do you
Yeah.
have any thoughts on the other three?
I do. So,
Oh, Bobby Witt
okay,
Jr. too. I
correct
forgot
me
to
if I'm
mention
wrong.
him.
Okay, that's what I was just going to say. So, Gunnar Henderson, Alec Boehm, and Bobby Witt Jr. These three guys are obviously up and coming stars in this league. I believe that for each and every one of them. However, these are not the prototypical guys that I want to see in a home run derby. That's where it kind of throws me off a little bit. Right? When you look at these guys, they don't necessarily look like home run hitters. But when I look at Ozuna and when I look at Alonso, these are big guys. These are guys who I know who's going to go out there and pimp a fuck ton of home runs. And that's what I want to see when I'm watching the home run derby. I want to see the guys like Vladdy, Judge, Stanton, Alonso, Ozuna, Otani. I want to see these big stature
Reds.
guys get in the box and just destroy. Just do what they do best in baseball, and that's hitting home runs. That's what I want to see. So when I'm gonna, it's such a double-edged sword for me though, because I think the three guys I just mentioned with Witt, Bohm, and Henderson, I think these guys are so exciting to watch play baseball. I love watching them do their thing. But when it comes to the home run derby, it rubs me the wrong way, and I don't know why. Maybe I'm the minority here, but I have to. That's kind of my 2 cents on those guys. I think they can put on a very exciting show in the home run derby. I really think they can, but these aren't guys that I want to see stepping into that box.
I know you just mentioned. I know you just rattled off a bunch of names, but um,
Hmm.
do you think you have any idea of who the last couple people could be? Because I'm trying to
It's
think.
so hard, man. It's so hard because I didn't expect. I wasn't sure if Alonso was going to go back in. Um, Witt threw me off. Even Henderson, he threw me off. And the one who like really just came out of left field for me was Alec Bohm. I mean, this it just these aren't guys that necessarily make sense to me. Um, so to be honest with you, I mean, I can't give you a name on the top of my head because I it just seems like anybody is getting thrown in here. Um, I guess I can tell you a name that I'd like to see, and I think you're against this, but I'd like to see Teoscar Hernandez. Um, I feel like would be cool. But other than that, I really can't give you a name that I can kind of pencil in there right now.
I actually do want to see Teoscar do it. I actually would want to see that, especially
Okay.
with some of these names that are coming out now. Like, okay, then, Teoscar, get in there. Um,
Well, and that's the thing too. Like these are names that we're not necessarily used to seeing, or kind of like guessing to kind of put in there. But you know, I'd also like to see Santander
oh
from the
yeah.
O's. And I think I mentioned this before, but I'd like to see Josh Naylor. Those are probably the three guys on the top of my head that I'd like to see.
Um, I'm gonna give you three. I'll give you three that
Okay.
I think that are gonna. I think this is gonna be your final three
Oh,
participants.
okay.
I think Teoscar Hernandez is gonna do it. I think he'll get the blessing from the Dodgers.
Blessing.
Yeah, that's what you have to do now. Um, I think you'll get a weird one in there. I think you'll get the Giants outfielder, Elliot Ramos. I think he'll do it. I think he'll throw. I
Oh,
think he'll
okay.
just a little out of again one of those kind of out of nowhere. Um,
It's a good pick though.
and the last one again. I don't think he's gonna do it, but I just this would be dream. This would be dream for me. Jordan Alvarez.
Yeah.
I hope he's like the last one, or he's like I'm gonna do it. And he's like, oh shit, like, all right, cool, we got Jordan in there. He's gonna hit a shit ton of home runs. It'd be cool too for him to do it in Texas where he'll get booed the whole time. But uh, those are my three. I think Teoscar, Elliot Ramos, and I think Jordan. I think those are gonna be your final three.
See, and I also want to kind of back up my point just a little bit more here because you had said your dream, like it would be a dream to have Jordan in there, and everybody would kind of like get behind that. That's what I want to see from all eight participants. That's what I want to feel when I'm looking at these names, when I'm looking at the lineup card for the home run derby. That's where these other guys are kind of throwing me off a little bit. Not against it. I mean, I totally get it. You have to get guys in there. And if these young guys want to step up to the plate and see what they got, yeah, I think it's cool. Go for it. But just for me personally, that's where it kind of throws me a little bit. I want to see home run hitters in there. I want to see these big power guys who's gonna absolutely put on a show, and that's kind of why I'm going back to the whole Pete Alonso thing. That's why I'm okay with him being in it because that's the prototypical guy that I want to see in the box.
Fair, fair. Then now you're talking me into it. Pete Alonso could play. You're talking me into it now. Uh, all right, finishing up with Dodgers Yankees here. I'll start with the Dodgers. They went 3 for 3. They went 3-3 on this 6-game homestand that they just played. They lost 2 out of 3 to Arizona, and they took 2 out of 3 from the Milwaukee Brewers. And you know the theme, and it's really starting to. The theme of this is really starting to kick in now. It seems like the Dodgers get up for these good teams. Um, they took 2 out of 3 from the Yankees. They took 2 out of 3 from Milwaukee. At the time, the Braves were a little bit more healthier, but they swept them. They swept them. Um, they just they played down to their competition. They lost 2 out of 3 from Arizona. I think both series against the Padres so far, they've lost both of them. Um, what else? I'm sure there's other examples out there, but so far, this Dodger team plays very well against the good teams, and they kind of play with their foot a little bit against the bad teams, which, I mean, that could be a good thing. Like, hey, once you get to the postseason, obviously you're playing nothing but good teams. And I was really focused and keeping my eye on the Milwaukee Brewers because that could potentially be a wild card round. That could potentially be a division series. That could be for the pennant. So I'm very interested. I was very interested to see how the Dodgers would perform against this Brewers team, and I thought they did well. The one game they lost yesterday, they threw a rookie pitcher out there, and I think he gave up 4 runs and he gave up a couple home runs, but was not bad. It was okay for his. I know he gave up. I think he took the loss anyways, and he gave up a bunch. He gave up like 2 or 3 home runs, and but he wasn't bad. I definitely would like to see him get another go around in the rotation again. I hope I hope he gets one more start before this first half of the season ends. But again, it's not. I'm doing my best not to complain, because I know I'm going to be complaining a shit ton, in a couple months from now. But Dodgers are still 7.5 games up, and it should be a lot more, because the Dodgers, again, they still have not hit their full stride yet. But they're still 19 games over 500. And because the rest of the division has been so bad, they have a comfortable lead. Now listen, I like the fact that the Padres are playing good baseball, because it keeps the Dodgers honest and it keeps them on their toes a little bit. All it takes is for the Dodgers to have one bad week and the Padres to have a really good week, and they're right back in this division. And that's the thing. Yes, maybe you want, but if you're the Dodgers, just take care of your business and get one of those 2 byes. I don't want to mess around in a 3-game wildcard series. It's bad enough that you can't even win a division series. You can't win 3 games in 5. You can't win a best-of-5 series, let alone, hey, can you win 2 of these next 3 games to go to the next round? After what I've seen the last 2 years against Arizona and San Diego. So I don't want to mess around with that. But again, finish the week strong. I would really like to see this team finish with 60 wins. That would be a very good benchmark to close with. But they finished with the Phillies, who have the best record in the National League, and they finished with Detroit. So we'll see what happens. But that's all I have with the Dodgers. Just get to this week healthy. And some of these guys need a mental break, and I think it's going to help a lot as we get to the second half of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I think you pretty much said that perfectly. I don't think I have to extend too much on the Dodgers. However, I do have some thoughts with my New York Yankees, who have completely had a fall from grace. Last week I was a little hard on them. I think this week is going to be 10 times worse. They went 3-7 in their last 10, and since our last podcast episode, they have gone 1-5. Got swept by Cincinnati, and they lost 2 out of 3 to Boston. It's not at all what you want. They find themselves 3 games out of first place in the American League East, and just 4.5 games up on the third place Boston Red Sox. This team can very easily fall off the face of the earth. And it's scary how close I am to saying that and actually kind of believing it. This team is playing poorly. I really just don't know where to start. It just seems like every single player outside of Judge is taking a step back. Every one of them. Cole has not looked the same since coming back from injury. Luis Gil has taken a step back. The entire rest of the pitching rotation has taken a step back. When you look at the lineup itself, the only ones producing right now, outside of Judge, is a rookie who was just called up, Ben Rice, who had 3 homers on the other day. Absolutely love that. He is the only reason why we had a single win since last podcast. If it takes a rookie being called up hitting 3 homers in 1 game to win a single game against the Boston Red Sox, I think there's a little bit of a problem there. The rest of this lineup is just not producing. I don't need to go on to names or anything, just because it's a collective. This entire team, this entire lineup is just not getting the job done. When you look at this bullpen, it seems like every single day, and yes, Matt Blake, our pitching coach, is a wonderful, wonderful mind when it comes to pitching. You know, we can pick up a guy off waivers and he can pitch you, I don't know, 20 innings with a sub 1 ERA. That's exactly what the Yankees have been doing. It's been a carousel in that damn bullpen. There is no guys who are safe in that bullpen. Seems like every single day I'm getting an update that the Yankees are either DFAing a reliever and then calling somebody up, or picking somebody off of waivers, having them pitch a game, and then bam, they get DFA'd right after. It's a never-ending carousel, and that's not something that I'm gonna be comfortable with going into October, if that's even a case anymore. Because the way this team's playing and the way that Boston's playing, they can very easily find themselves scratching and clawing for one of those last two wild card spots, and you never know what's going to happen in the AL Central or the AL West. You know, Kansas City's knocking right on that door, so this team needs to be very, very careful with how much they're playing with their food here, because it has been an abysmal month of baseball for the Yankees. It is becoming extremely hard to watch this team, and it also seems like the players aren't just getting behind Boone anymore. And yeah, I mean, Aaron Boone has been a topic of conversation whenever the Yankees get in this kind of rut, because as a fan base, when you look at the history, you're so used to anything going wrong, George Steinbrenner would fire the manager immediately, no matter what. Everybody knows the whole situation with Billy Martin. It just seems like this entire team has taken a complete step back every single direction, and it's not looking like it's going to get better. I don't understand how it's going to get better, because it just comes down to the players. But I think heading into this trade deadline, I think it just makes it a little bit more interesting, because if they don't have a fire lit under their ass right now, I don't know what's ever going to change. But this is around the time that for the past couple seasons, it has gone this way. The Yankees come out of the gates firing on all cylinders, and it's looking like, you know, the fan base is saying, oh, here comes 28, here we go, finally. We're back to the promised land. And then once June hits, June and July, it's a complete different tone. And then we're talking about, damn, we might miss the playoffs here just like we did last year. Or damn, we're wasting more of Judge's prime years. You know, and this should be an all-in year. I say it every single week. We are not guaranteed Soto next year. So this deadline, I think, relies a lot on what Brian Cashman and company are going to do. But when you look at recent history, I'm not too excited for that. Yeah, I think it just comes down to the players, man. Players need to start playing better. And until that happens, it's just going to continue to be this way. And it's not looking great. So that's my thoughts on the Yankees. You know, turn the shit around before it gets too late, because it can get too late very, very quickly. Very quickly.
Yeah, and I mean, you would think the Orioles are going to go all in too at this deadline.
As they should.
So,
yep.
It's a 3-game lead now, but that can easily get out of hand too. But
very easily.
All of a sudden, I know this is, you're talking about Yankees. All of a sudden, the Red Sox, they're have a little mojo going down there. Just when it looked like they were going to sell off some pieces, they might be adding in a couple weeks here.
No, and listen, like, this isn't something that I do often, just because it's Boston. I'm never gonna, I'm never gonna give them credit for anything, but this is something that I have to. You know, they've realized, hey, Yankees aren't playing too great, and the O's they're a little shaky a little bit. You know, right now it's only a 3-game lead of first place. So these two teams that we thought would be battling it out, well, here comes Boston saying, why not us? They could very easily overstep the Yankees here, and then they could be gunning for that top spot in the division. Props to the Red Sox. I mean, they're getting contributors every single position. Jarren Duran, I think he's turning into a star. He's a stud. And then they have the core guys that they kind of rely on each and every single night. And they're doing this without Tristan Casas, by the way. So there's a chance that this team could say, you know, let's buy at the deadline. Let's see what happens. And that scares me a little bit. So
I think that's going to do it for episode 84.
I believe so.
Covered a lot of stuff. It was really All-Star game stuff, but I mean that's the
Yeah.
topic of conversation right now. So
Hey, that's how it's gonna
yeah,
be.
for the next couple
That's
weeks here.
that's the time that we're in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, unless you got anything else, I think that's it.
I don't think so.
I don't either. Will Smith, thank you for being the Brewers Destroyer over the weekend. Love that. It 4 home runs and I think 5 at bats. Impressive, but we will see you again next week, and we will be previewing the Derby and the All-Star game and taking a look at the draft as round 1 will be finished too. So we got it all
Yep.
covered. We got it all covered.
Always.
All right, well, we'll see you next Monday. Adios.